Welcome to Made in Alpharetta, the only podcast dedicated to showcasing what makes Alpharetta so awesome. Today's show is brought to you by the Alpharetta Convention and Visitors Bureau. I'm your host, Kathleen Sturgeon. I'm really excited about today's episode because I have followed the Drake House pretty much since its inception, and even more so at my job here at the newspaper, and so I'm pretty excited for today. So joining me in the studio is Kimberly Jackson, Director of Volunteer Engagement. Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah. So can you how long have you been with the Drake House?
7.5 years. So a good amount of time.
Yeah, definitely. And why did you first get involved? Were you a volunteer before?
No, I was told about the Drake House through a friend at church. Told me that they were opening stores or stores, singular, and that fell into something that I had experience with and was very interested in applying for the position and got it. So I opened the first Drake Closet in Roswell, and that was a little over 7 years ago.
Oh, wow. And so backing up even more, can you give me the background of the Drake House as a whole?
Yeah. About 12 years ago, there was a group through the Greater North Fulton Chamber of Commerce, a leadership group, and they were tasked with finding out where there were gaps in coverage from the various nonprofits in the area. And once they started digging into homelessness and seeing how prevalent it is in our area, they realized that there were some pretty big issues that were facing families in a more unique way than individuals. The thing that came up was that if a mom went to a shelter with a son and a daughter, the mom and the daughter would be placed in the female residence hall, where the son would have to go alone and stay, if he were over the age of 12, in the men's dormitory. So that right there was reason enough to come up with a plan, and thus the Drake House was formed, where homeless women with their minor children could stay together as a family in a furnished apartment until they could get back on their feet and go through programs at the Drake House that would empower them to become better employees, better moms, better citizens of our community.
That's awesome. And that was roughly 2004, 2006. So it's been established for a pretty good time now. Everybody pretty much knows about it.
Yeah, it's amazing. It seems like kind of a snowball effect, and suddenly our popularity is really hit.
Yeah, definitely. I will definitely agree with that. And so can you tell me who was it named after? Where did the name the Drake House come from?
Mary Drake was, from what I didn't know her personally, but from what I understand, was a real local version of Mother Teresa.
Okay.
And very involved in the needy in our community, very involved with the homeless, and never turned anyone away that needed help. So in a way to honor her, the Drake House was named in her honor.
That's great. Did you ever meet her or know her?
No.
Just heard stories?
No, she has passed away, and I believe it was before I started with the Drake House. Yeah. So I'm sad to say I didn't get to know her.
Yeah, me too. And so can we kind of jump into some of the more touchy subjects? So homelessness in the area. I personally have covered the topic for the paper off and on here and there, and it always surprises me just to hear the numbers, especially students who are considered homeless in this area. And then when I talk to my friends or my family, they're always like, oh, nobody's really homeless in Alpharetta. You're not homeless here. And they are. And it's surprising. So can you talk to me about that a little?
It's very surprising, the number of homelessness in our area, because it's such an affluent suburb of Atlanta. You don't expect there to be homelessness. But just like with anything, we're not immune to it, and our area is not immune to it. Because of the cost of housing, it just keeps going up and skyrocketing. The closer you are to the city, the more expensive it is. So it only makes sense that in the search for less expensive, more affordable housing, that people would start going out into the suburbs. And so that's why we're seeing the climb in homelessness here in our area. They're looking for places that they can afford to live. Even more surprising to me is about 40% of our families come from the Sandy Springs area, and almost that many come from Alpharetta.
Oh, wow.
So to say that homelessness isn't an issue is It's just not true. I mean, we see it every day.
Yeah. And so, kind of going off that, talking about affordable housing, is that an issue that you guys keep tabs on, or is that something you focus on?
Well, it became more evident to us as our families were graduating from the Drake House program. They were not finding places that they could afford to live because as the economy has improved, so has the real estate market. So places where they were once able to go to live are now being torn down to make way for mixed use areas and new
Shopping.
retail.
Yeah.
So that kind of leads into our latest venture with the Drake House, and it's called the Drake Village.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when a mom successfully graduates from the Drake House program, she can now apply to live in the Drake Village, again, a furnished apartment where she and her family can stay together for up to 2 years.
Oh, wow.
There are budget coaches that meet with the families twice a month to help mom stay on target with her bills and with her rent. It's just an amazing program where we're helping those families ease back into the world of paying that skyrocket rent.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Getting used to it. Yeah. And so, do you know any stories personally, or have you worked with any of these women or families yourself?
I'm on the development side of the building, so
Mhm.
I see the kids every day when they get off the bus. I see how much fun they're having playing outside our
Mhm.
window, but no, I don't come into contact with them on a daily basis like our program side does.
Mm.
The social workers are the ones that work
Oh,
with them
yeah.
day in, day out.
Yeah. And so, can you tell me more about the village? Where is it? Isn't in Roswell? Are you allowed to say? I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's really crazy the way it all turned out because the Drake House apartments are on Clara Drive. We were able to purchase a office space across the street from there. And then 2 years ago, we purchased a second apartment complex on the same cul-de-sac.
Oh, wow.
So it's really convenient for all of our families to gather at the Drake House office. And for the Drake and for the Drake House, they can come there and do their laundry and go to the food pantry and attend their classes once a week. So we're all right there on one street. So it's great.
How does it feel knowing that you're involved with this? Like, does it feel pretty great?
On a day-to-day basis, it's not something I think about, but I
Mhm.
have to tell you that during the holidays, I got stopped in my tracks a couple of times because it people, our donors, are so generous, and I've probably lost track of the number of times now where people hug me and say, "Thank you for the good work you're doing," because I don't see it that way. Just doing my job, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah.
But people can. One man stopped right before Christmas and he said he had 2 Amazon boxes in his hand and he said, "I just wanted to bring these to you. I meant to ship them here and must have hit the auto ship and they just came straight to my house." And I said, "Oh, sir, thank you so much." I said, "This is awesome." And I said, "Can I get you a receipt?" And he's like, "No, no, no." He said, "Y'all are doing such great work." He said, my mom struggled with us. She was a single mother and this means a lot to me and I just want to give back in her honor." And I mean, I was bawling because
Yeah.
it was such an emotional moment, and he kind of choked up too. And so it's those moments that make me realize that I'm very honored to work where I work.
Yeah. That's awesome. I can't imagine. I can see how the type of person who would work there would have to be selfless and humble, and you're like, "No, no." But no, that's awesome. So, can you tell me about who is the typical person who benefits from the Drake House? So, you said families, is it mostly families?
It's only moms
Oh,
and
it
with
is.
their
Okay.
minor children. So
Okay.
and they have to be referred to the Drake House. So it's not something they can just walk in the front door and
Mm.
apply for
Mhm.
services. Usually it's through either North Fulton Community Charities,
Mhm.
they're a referring partner to us, or it's the school social worker. The social worker might notice that the children are wearing the same clothes for their third or fourth day in a row and maybe start asking some questions. Or maybe the child's not able to stay awake because they're sleeping in their car, kind of a situation. So the mom, the social worker will get in touch with the mom and help her find the resources that she needs to apply for service through the Drake House.
And do you I know we talked about numbers are a little
Tricky for
crazy.
me.
Yeah. But do you know overall or roughly how many people are helped every year by you guys or families?
We generally serve between 40 and 50 families a year in
Oh,
the
wow.
Drake house.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the numbers now. The Drake Village is still so new that,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just off the ground, so we don't really have numbers on it yet. But right now we have over 40 kids in our after school program.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, talk about heroes. Those are the true heroes. Those ladies that work in our after school program and watch those kids every day. I mean, they're the workers. They're the worker bees. I mean, I don't know how they do it, but they love those children,
Mm-hmm.
and you can just see it in their faces. And they really want the best for those kids. So I really admire the work that they do.
Yeah, me too. Definitely. And that's a good place. We are going to take a brief break and we will be right back after we hear a word from our sponsor. Planning a wedding, reunion, or corporate meeting in Alpharetta? The Alpharetta Convention and Visitor Bureau offers a variety of complimentary event planning resources to help you during your event or meeting planning process. Their expert team will help you find event venues and meeting space around the area, secure group hotel room nights at Alpharetta's 25 hotels, and provide you with free visitor information to share with your Alpharetta hotel guests. Visit awesomealpharetta.com to learn more. Welcome back to Made in Alpharetta. I am joined today in the studio by Kimberly Jackson, the Director of Volunteer Engagement at the Drake House. Welcome back.
Thanks.
So, Kimberly, can you tell me about how the Drake House as a whole has grown in the years that it's been around?
Well, I guess the biggest way that I see it on a daily basis is just the name recognition. When I first started working at the Drake House, no one knew what that was, and I would have to give my elevator pitch. And but now more and more, when I say that I work for the Drake House, oh, I volunteered there, or oh, the National Charity League, my daughter and I came and planted a garden there. So the name recognition has definitely grown. Our donor base is huge. I mean, it's very heartwarming to see the number of people who want to help. And I guess the last way, our staff has had to grow to keep up with the demands, just with the number of families that we serve and the number of kids that we see and the number of programs that we offer. So it's all good, though. Our fearless leader, Kathy Swan, is amazing and such a great person to work for. So she keeps the ship going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so do you think it's you guys have more resources to help more people, or that the people who need help has increased? Which?
In both regards, I would say both.
Mm-hmm.
The number of people has increased and our resources have grown with that. So that's a good thing to have happened because we're able to meet those needs.
Mm-hmm.
We have incredible support from the faith community, from the civic groups, the Rotaries. I mean, there's so much support from them.
Why do you think the community supports you all so much?
Truly, they tell us they see the good work that we're doing. I mean, I think they enjoy the family-friendly nature of our events, and they like the message that it's teaching their kids. A lot of times, I can't tell you how many times people call and say, "Can I bring my kids out there to do this?" Or just to show that there is not, to show the other side of the life that we live here in this affluent community, that it's not all. Not everybody has an iPad. Not everybody has Xbox.
Not everybody lives like they do. Right. Yeah, definitely. And so kind of switching gears here, but can you talk about what are some of the major events that you all put on every year?
Well, we're most widely known for the one that happens every August, the last Sunday of every August. It's Miss Mary's Ice Cream Crankin'. It's the most popular by far event that we do every year, and it's our signature event. Last year we raised over $60,000 just from this 2 hours on a Sunday afternoon.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it takes place at the park in downtown Roswell, and rain or shine. Everybody comes out, makes homemade ice cream, and then the public comes and taste it as much as they want, hundreds of flavors. And there's ice cream eating contests and face painting, and the kids have a blast, and nobody leaves hungry for ice cream.
That sounds awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun. I bet that is really successful. Yeah.
Then another event that we're having this year that's new to us, we have a new Young Professional Advisory Council, and they are holding their first fundraiser for the Drake House. This group is mostly all under 40, and their first fundraiser is going to take place at Truck and Tap in downtown Alpharetta on March the 9th. It's a Saturday from 12 to 6. Truck and Tap is very graciously and generously donating $1 from every pour, whether it's beer or wine that day. There'll be raffles and wine pool and games and shenanigans. It'll be a lot of fun.
Sounds great. I actually heard about it this past weekend.
Oh, good.
When I was shopping at the Drake Closet in downtown Alpharetta, and I saw the flyer and I said, I mean, I like Truck and Tap. I like the Drake Closet. I like the Drake House. Why not come and,
Win, win, win.
Yeah, exactly. So can you tell me about the Drake Closet? So when did there's 3 locations now, right?
Right.
And when did the one in Alpharetta open?
5 years ago.
Okay. And that was not the original, or
the original one was in downtown Roswell,
okay,
on Mimosa Boulevard across from Roswell United Methodist Church.
Mm-hmm.
And it did so well right from the get-go that within 2 years we'd opened the one in Alpharetta, pretty much due to public demand.
Yeah.
And then another one of our biggest fundraisers is Rockin' the Runway fashion show that we hold every June, and it takes place in Sandy Springs. So it became just a good fit to have a third store there.
Yeah, definitely. And is all the items are donated?
All the clothing, shoes, handbags are all donated from our, as I've said, very generous donor base.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how the stores came about in the beginning, because people wanted a place to donate women's clothes. They wanted to be able to give their nicely, gently worn clothing to the moms in our residences, whether they needed them for job interviews or any other reason, but we simply did not have a place to store it. So, especially when you're talking about that many people,
Mm-hmm.
and thus the idea of the Drake Closet was born, and all those donations just went to for store inventory, basically. And we haven't looked back. I mean, it's been a very profitable venture for the Drake House program. All that money goes right back into funding the program that takes place on Clara Drive. I mean, it's definitely been a successful venture.
Yeah, I mean, I like going in there.
I do too.
I love thrift shopping. I actually wore a dress that I got there this weekend a couple days ago to work, and I love it when people are like, "Oh, I love that dress." I'm like, "Thanks, got it at the Drake Closet." Give a little shout out there. But it is good.
I'm one of those people that I can't help but say, "Oh, it was only $15."
Me too. Yeah.
I just have to brag on the great deal I got.
Yeah, me too, definitely. And you guys have a really good sale going on where it was BOGO. My mom and I just swept it up. It was awesome.
Good.
And so how can the public get back? You have talked about donations, both monetary and then also with clothing or food. Yeah. Can you talk about what ways can people get back to the Drake House?
We have an ongoing list on our Facebook page of any items we need for our food pantry. Those can be cleaning supplies, food for the after-school program, or food for just the general needs of our Drake House program. And so anybody can check out our Facebook page, or you can find it on a link from our website. Other needs that we have are gift cards to Kroger, to any gas stations, MARTA cards, things that we can give our moms so that they can either go pick up a prescription, get things that aren't covered by food stamps or aren't on our general pantry needs. We had a mom whose daughter was allergic to every kind of detergent known to man, except for one very random one that not many stores carried. So fortunately, Kroger did have it, and we were able to give her a Kroger card to pick some up. So those are the kinds of things that are just lifeblood to the organization, is those gift cards. It's being able to tell our volunteers, here's a Home Depot one, go buy the air filters that you need to replace in the apartments, or light bulbs that we need for the apartments, or I don't know, do sinks still have washers? Mine doesn't, but the kinds of things that the handymen need to fix all the
Yeah.
things.
Things we take for granted.
Exactly. So
Mhm.
that's another way, donating gently used clothing to the Drake closets, and then participating in our events. We always need sponsors for those events. Miss Mary's Ice Cream, even though it's only February and the event's not till August, we'll need sponsors for that. We'll need sponsors for our fashion show in June, raffle prizes, all the things that all the nonprofits need. We need those as well.
Mhm.
So
And then I just want to know, why are you so passionate about this? What makes you wake up every day and you're excited for work and you're excited to get going?
it's the people that I work with, first and foremost. We have some of the most amazing volunteers. I've made some really good friends just working with those women day in, day out. The employees at the Drake House are so committed to our cause, and they believe so passionately in helping the residents is another reason. And, I think a little bit of it is that, but for the grace of God, there go I. I mean, that just being thankful for what I have and wanting to do my part to give back.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Kimberly, thank you for joining me today. And where can people find out more information about the Drake House?
Well, there are two places. They can go to our Facebook page if they're on Facebook, the Drake House Roswell, or they can go to our website, thedrakehouse.org.
Okay, perfect. And thank you again to the Alpharetta Convention and Visitors Bureau. Don't forget to check them out at awesomealpharetta.com. Be sure to find Made in Alpharetta anywhere you listen to podcasts, including on iTunes. Follow Made in Alpharetta on Twitter at AlpharettaMade, and you can keep up with me on Facebook by searching Kathleen Sturgeon or on Twitter at KS Sturgeon. Thank you.